Welcome to The Brain Dump, where we study the psychology of success. Join us as we probe the habits, rituals, and routines of top-performing artists, entrepreneurs, authors, athletes, and more to uncover the timeless principles we can all use to take our lives to the next level. Are you ready to plunge the grunge that's been gunking up your mind's eye? Great, then let's get to it.
Welcome to The Brain Dump. That's right. I get to do the intro today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. I am Anthony Vicino, and today I'm your host. Austin Linney is just the co-host. But it's going to be a really good episode as we dive into... Man, Austin, you've got a lot going on. Like the other day, I asked you, I was like, how many businesses you got? Like, and I'm like putting you on blast here. I was like, how many businesses you got? You're like, I got a lot. And I was like, yeah, you do. So what I want to talk about today is like unpacking where you are right now going into the new year. I think by the time this episode goes live, it's going to be, end of first quarter. But let's unpack, like, where are you right now? You're coming off of a really hot 2021. We're recording this February 1st. You're coming off a really hot 2021. I know you got huge goals for 2022. How are you approaching those goals? What are the limits? What are the obstacles that are in your way? And like, how are you getting around those? And where are you going? Where are you going, Austin?
Well, I think the first thing that I have realized is I think that I don't, this is kind of something I talk myself into. I don't concern. It's something that you brought up a couple episodes ago when you talked about what's the legacy goal, what's the immediate goal, what's the right now goal. And I think one of the things that I realize is I'm only one person. I can't do everything. And so I made it a point that there's one thing that comes first in my life, and that's my health. My health is taken care of. I'm pouring into myself. The second one is my clients, because they trusted me with the opportunity to be in their world and coach them and support them. So they get top, and then my businesses are all legacy projects, and they're kind of the last thing. So I really look at each day as kind of what's the most important thing that I can knock over today. And if I leave something behind, then I can pick it up later, and I don't let it tax my brain. But really what started for me was June 1st of last year. I had lost my biggest client, and she was paying like 60% of my monthly salary. And Leland kind of gave me some tips, and he's like, so here's the deal. You're either going to run and retreat or you're going to figure it out. There's really no other way around it. And my mind can't even wrap around the last 7 months, but I have far exceeded my expectations for anything. And so now we have a different problem. The problem is not the opportunities. The problem is the opportunities are falling down like a portal from another universe. And it's now the confidence and the coaching is there. The steady income's there. Breaking numbers, already set up to have an amazing year. So now it's about people. And we are in the next phase of this business where I am about a few weeks away from bringing on somebody to be my right hand and COO and property. And this is a very, 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 very scary thing for me for many reasons. One, having to afford that. And the second is having to pull everything that's in my brain and body and help them help me. So this is kind of, I'm there, right? I'm so close, but man, it scares the shit out of me. And
let me pause you real quickly, because I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, sure. But I do want to ask you, because I think this is for listeners who maybe are in a similar place where you're bringing on that first big employee. Like, it's so scary because now suddenly you're like, shit, I got to keep making money to keep paying that overhead. That guy needs a job. He needs money. So like, how do you reconcile? What was the thought process that got you to the point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to take this dive? Because I find like people are either like, they're either like it's too soon or it's too late, and they never get it right on the head. So,
well, there's a couple reasons. One, the moment that things start slipping a little bit, meaning that you're missing something in your business, you know that you need to find somebody. The second is the person knows me, respects me, is loyal to me. One, it would be a better opportunity for her and her family. So I can get behind that 100% because that's my mission in life, is to support her and nurture her. And then the main thing is that I always have to be thinking ahead, right? Because I could keep this money for myself and this is cute and I could do this and that's great. But if my ultimate goal is to create jobs and impact and businesses, that I am only one person, and any time that I'm wasting doing things I shouldn't be doing is moments that I can't be growing my business in other areas, or moments that I can't be cultivating more relationships. And so the time per value area, the gap is just too big now. And I'm doing too many things I shouldn't be doing. So that's why I've kind of come to this conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No. And so that being said, like, it's really hard though too. And I'm interested to hear your feedback. It's like when you're taking somebody and you're selling them on the vision of what you can create and what can happen in a short amount of time, you're also having to deal with other human beings who base their identity and their mindset around what a salary means to them. Right. And so that's an Everest in its own, though, because they want the comfort, they want the security, but you're trying to get them to understand if they just stick with you and cultivate, and I can grow you and I can train you, like you could make 5 times your salary in a year, but that's not what's going to put food on their table for their kids and their sanity.
This is at its core a problem that you're going to face a lot as you're scaling and hiring people, because we started running into this at Escape, which is a manufacturing company. So you wouldn't think this would be an issue there. But me and my partners, we are very much more entrepreneurial, right? And we wanted to cultivate a culture of extreme accountability and thinking like the owner and thinking long term and thinking entrepreneurially and saying like, hey, this doesn't just have to be a job. This could be a thing in the future that scales into who knows what, right? And the problem is, and we're seeing this a lot now in at Invictus, where we talk a lot about investing in real estate and building businesses, right? And how everybody should go and build a business. Everybody should own a piece of a business. And then you bring in employees who are like facilitating selling that message, right? Like all our media, all our marketing, like all our content is directed around like, you should go build a business, right? And so we talk about this stuff a lot internally, and it's like, well, it's still not resonating enough, because ultimately, if the message was really landing, we would have no employees because they would all hear it and go, yep, I'm going to go do that. And then it'd peace out, right? Mm-hmm. And it doesn't happen that way. What ends up happening is they go, yeah, this is really cool. This is great. I love this company and I love my thing, but I still want my W-2.
Yep.
And that's just some people.
Yep.
Like some people, like they're not ready for that message or that leap, and they're just there.
Well, I have multiple clients in this, and I think what my specialty trick with them is I get them to reframe what the W-2 means to them and what the purpose of it is. Okay. And I'll use a prime example. I've got a new client, young kid. He's a physician's assistant. And I said, what are you doing every day? And he says, I'm assisting the surgeons and I'm showing up for the patients. And I was like, nope, not even close. And he goes, I don't understand. I said, well, you came to me because you wanted confidence and you wanted to be more assertive. I said, so what you're doing every day is you're working in high intense situations, dealing with multiple personalities, multiple needs of different people, and you're learning to communicate properly in those situations and be the best version of yourself. What you're also doing is gaining the trust of multiple high net worth individuals who will see an avenue to invest in you in real estate later on. And he goes, well, fuck, work just changed completely. And I go, yeah. And so now work's been great. And he's been picking up overtime and he sees the light at the end of the tunnel. I created a different outlook of what work meant. And it's a lot easier to go to work.
I think that's a brilliant strategy, even if it's not just work, right? I think this, like, we probably have a lot of entrepreneurs listening to this, or people who are just in that mindset of wanting to improve and get better at whatever life throws at them, is like reframing all the shit work or the things that you don't want to do in your life as opportunities that are like building the muscle of discipline or building the muscle of follow through, like whatever it is, like you can look at it and reframe it and not just say this task sucks, but it's got to get done. You can look at it as this task is an opportunity, and it might not be the thing that I would choose to be doing right now, because there's maybe all these other things I could be doing with my time or I would enjoy more, but there's value in this because it's linked to this deeper value or trait that you're developing as an individual.
Yeah. And somebody asked me the other day, I can't explain it. I don't want to go off woo-woo, but something inside of me in the last week, while we were finishing up our time in Sedona, told me that I need to double my goals this year. And it has something to do with, I've had a great January, of course, but something inside of me said, you know what, you can do this. And my friend, who's another coach, asked me a simple question. How are you going to create this? How are you going to double this already ridiculous ass number? And how are you going to do it? And I said, I'm going to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to create impact for others. I'm going to service my clients, and I'm going to look for opportunities. And he said, that's it. And I said, yeah, if I do all those things every day, I promise you that the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah. And that ties into belief, right? Like that. We talked about this on, I think it must have been last week's or maybe the week before, the Russell Brunson episode where he was talking about like the different tiers of goals and these three legs of the stool, on top of which there's your identity. And then underneath those three legs are beliefs, values, and rules. And beliefs are those things that you tell yourself, or just the worldview that you have and you hold with such conviction that you don't leave room for doubt. And the world just has a way of aligning itself with whatever it is that you believe. It does sound woo woo, and I'm not a woo woo guy, but there's a reality there, is that when you believe you're the best at what you do, you're more likely to be the best at what you do. Right? Like you're the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, all these people who are the greatest of all time at what they do have a unshakable belief in who they are, and that nobody is better than them or whatever. Like, and if you can adopt that, not saying like you need to go and be crazy and be delusional with your beliefs. They do need to be founded in somewhat of a reality, but this is what I struggle with, right? Is like the logic and the emotion of, is this too extreme or not extreme enough?
Well, here's the deal. And there's no need to talk about numbers, but every one of my close friends that knows what's happened to me in the last 7 months, do you want to know the first response they say to me? Not congrats. Sounds about right. They go, dude, you consistently showed up for yourself. You've been putting in the work the last 3 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right. That's a damn good feeling. There's no better fucking compliment in the world than that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the expectation identity of who others are seeing you as, and recognizing, like, if Elon Musk came to you and was like, hey man, I made 700,000, I made $1 million last year, you would not look at Elon and be like, damn dude, good job. You'd be like,
you suck, bro.
What? Because the expectation is like, I know you can do so much better. Right. And so that and that's really living in alignment with your beliefs, leading into alignment with your identity. Right. And a lot of times we don't see it ourselves, and the identity that others are attributing to us is like maybe further along yet. And we talked about this in a previous Brain Dump episode, where a lot of your coaching clients come in and they're in such a broken state initially that they have to lean on your belief and conviction in them and the future that they could have, that until it becomes a reality that they can believe in themselves. Right. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, like, the people around us can see things yet in us that we don't, like that greatness. And so when they're like, that sounds about right, I know you believe it too. And like, you don't doubt that, like, it is about right. But, in the moment when we're setting those ambitious goals, for what this next year is, of like doubling, right?
Dude, there's no like, you asked me fucking 8 months ago, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Now I'm like, yeah, sounds about right.
Sounds about right. And the thing is, like, what's really interesting is there will always come this point where you're like, as you're growing, your belief and expectations of yourself are going to exceed maybe what the people around you believe that you can do. And so you come in, you're like, I just had this killer year. And they're like, that sounds about right. And you're like, now I'm going to 10X it. And they're like, well, right. And that's because and this is straight from Tom Bilyeu, is like that big goal that you have to be 10X better than whatever, right? Or doubling. You are not there yet. You do not have the traits, the skills, the beliefs, like you don't have the identity yet, because if you did, you would already be there, right? You don't have it yet. So you're going to be building that over the next year. And in building it, you're going to get there. And then next year, you're going to go to people and say, hey, I did this thing. And they're going to go, that sounds about right. Right. Because now they're judging you based off of what you've done and achieved and who you are in that moment. But right now, there's probably a lot of doubt, maybe even internally, of like, yeah, I'm not there yet, because I got to build it. I got to build myself to get to that point, but I'm going to.
I love it. So I'm not the host, so you got to take us out.
All right, people, listen up. We got some homework for you this week. I don't know what it is, so we're just going to make it up on the fly. In the vein of, you're not who you need to be right yet to do the thing that you want to do. Like whatever those goals were that you set for yourself for this year, of like, I want to build my business. I want to hire these people. I want to, whatever. I don't care what the goal is. Like, it wouldn't be a goal if you were already capable of doing it, right? If you had done it. So let's audit what needs to occur, right? And Austin, your conversation with that coaching buddy who said, okay, well, how are you going to do this? And you're like, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to take care of my clients. I'm going to look for opportunities. That's like that's the plan. So for the listeners at home, what's your plan for getting to those goals? Is it actionable? Are you waiting for the universe just to kind of like manifest and put it in front of you? Like, what are you doing between now and the sounds about right that you're going to get from everybody? What needs to occur in that middle for you to get to that goal? Go review, go write it down. Seriously, write it down. There's magic in writing these things down. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye. Love it.
Thanks for joining us here at The Brain Dump. Now, before you go, it's important to solidify what you've learned here today by taking action. If all you do is listen, then you're only going to retain a small amount of the information you consumed here today. So take a quick moment to really lock in any key insights, tidbits, or pieces of wisdom that you want to carry with you into the future. You can do this by heading over to iTunes and leaving a review with your top 3 takeaways from this episode. If you've already left a review, first, thank you so much. Second, it's time to start a brain dump journal. It doesn't have to be fancy, just a slip of paper will do, where you can record a couple quick thoughts from each episode. Science shows this is one of the best ways to ensure long-term retention of new information. And finally, if you've got a brother, a sister, a coworker, or a best friend that you think would benefit from this episode, do them and us a favor and share with them this episode. Your support, as always, means the world to us.